You think you have free will? You think you choose what you wear? Let's test that theory right now. I'm going to give you $300, but there's a catch. You have to spend it right now on a pair of sunglasses that defines who you are. Option A, the Maverick, Ray-Ban. You want history. You want to look like a movie star, the classic rebel. Option B, the Athlete, Oakley. You care about performance, high tech, speed. You want the best engineering. Option C, the Elite, Prada or Versace. You want status. You want people to know you've made it. Have you made your choice? Point to it. Congratulations. You just played a game that was rigged before you were even born. You didn't choose a brand. You chose a flavor of the same monopoly. Because every single penny you just spent went into the pockets of the exact same guy. Welcome to the empire of Luxottica, the company that owns your eyes. Milan, 1940s. Leonardo Del Vecchio is 7 years old. His mother, unable to feed him, hands him over to an orphanage. He grows up in a factory. He works with brass and steel. He loses part of his finger to a machine, but he learns the alchemy of metal. In 1961, he moves to Agordo, a frozen village in the Alps, to open a tiny workshop. He calls it Luxottica, light and optics. At first, he's a nobody. He makes screws and hinges for other companies. He's a subcontractor. But Leonardo notices something. The people making the parts make pennies. The people selling the frames make millions. So he commits the ultimate business sin. He starts competing with his own customers. He stops selling parts. He builds the whole frame. He controls the process from the raw metal to the final polish. Then, the 1980s, fashion explodes. Armani, Versace, Bulgari. They knew suits, but they didn't know eyewear. Leonardo approaches Giorgio Armani. You give me the sketch, I do the rest. It was the first licensing deal of its kind. Suddenly, glasses weren't medical devices, they were face jewelry. The margins went from 10% to 500%. To understand the scale, you have to visit the factory floor. It is a masterpiece of efficiency. Here, the same high-grade plastic is molded, but the name printed on the side dictates the price. High-fashion brands don't make glasses, they sell licenses. They rent their names to Luxottica. Luxottica handles the design, the manufacturing, and the distribution. The brand just collects a royalty check. Take Ray-Ban. In 1999, they were failing, sold in gas stations for 20 bucks. Luxottica bought them. They took them off the market, starved the supply, and reintroduced them as a luxury essential. Same product, 10x the price. They didn't just buy Ray-Ban, they bought everything. Persol, Oliver Peoples, Vogue. But owning the brands is only half the battle. To control the market, you must control the shelf. Which brings us to their masterstroke. They bought the stores. Sunglass Hut, LensCrafters, Pearl Vision, Target Optical. If you are a competitor and you want to be seen, you have to go through them. The strategy worked. Today, almost every luxury brand you know is just a tenant in Del Vecchio's house. Well, except one. There was one company that refused to be with them. Jim Gennard, the mad scientist behind Oakley. He didn't care about fashion, he cared about physics. Oakley was the cool kid. They were independent, publicly traded, and making a killing. Luxottica asked Oakley to lower their prices for their stores, but Jan refused, as they thought they had leverage. But they forgot who owned the shelf. Luxottica didn't argue. They just hit delete. Overnight, Oakley was banned from Sunglass Hut. The biggest window to the world was bricked up. The stock market reaction was violent. Oakley's value crashed by 35% in days. Revenue dried up. Investors screamed. The company was bleeding out. Then, Luxottica returned, not as an enemy, but as a savior. They bought the company they had just crippled for a fraction of its true value. They didn't just buy a competitor, they made an example of them. So, what are you actually paying for? Let's do the math. Acetate, metal, hinges. The raw materials cost less than a sandwich. But because one company owns the factory, the shop, and the brand, they don't take the market price, they make the market price. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. They don't just own the glasses, they own the thing you see through. In 2017, they merged with Essilor, the world's biggest lens manufacturer. Now the frames are them, the lenses are them, the anti-glare coating is them. But here is the checkmate. IMED, the insurance company. They own that too. Think about the journey. You get eye insurance, them. You go to a doctor, often them. The doctor writes a prescription for Essilor lenses, them, and points you to the Ray-Ban rack, them. It is the perfect monopoly. It doesn't look like a prison. It looks like a shopping mall. It is a golden cage. You are free to choose any brand you want, as long as it's theirs. Sure, there are rebels, Warby Parker, Costco, Zenni. They exist, but they are fighting a gravity well. They can't match the distribution. They can't match the insurance network. The orphan from Milan built a machine that captured the eyes of the planet. He became the wealthiest man in Italy, not by innovation, but by consolidation. So next time you put on those shades, look at the reflection. Do you see your choice, or do you see their plan? The illusion only works if you don't know you're wearing it. But now that you know the trick, you can never unsee it.